Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we are discussing the top 10 worst films of 2020. Now a lot of films got delayed, but I did manage to see 40 films this year. So I've got my top 10 worst films here and we're going to jump into it. So let me know in the comments below, what are your worst films of 2020? I want to know. Give us a like as well. Smash that like button. Come on, smash it. You've been doing awesome so far this year. So just keep smashing it and keep hitting that subscribe button as well, because it helps me out. So, without further ado, let's jump into this list. Perfect. Unfortunately comes into number 10. Now, I didn't think this was top 10 material for worst. I don't think that, but unfortunately someone's got to come in that top 10 spot. And unfortunately, 10th falls to The Hunt. Now, The Hunt lacked, to me, character development. That was its biggest issue. While I like the story and the concept of it, I just think they jumped straight into the action, straight into the killing, picking characters off left, right, and center that I didn't even care for. So the emotional attachment to these characters dying was gone. It was dead. I didn't care. I was like, that's cool. There were some unique creative ways to kill people, and then there were some generic ways that we've already seen. I just think they killed so many people off so quickly that I was kind of like, well, there's no drama here. There's no drama. And then it gets a bit confusing in the centerpiece of the film, the middle act. It gets a bit confusing on what's actually happening, what's going on. And then they tell it down the line. And there's some cool fight scenes and stuff like that. But some things where I'm a bit like, I don't think you'd really survive that. But hey, what do I know? So I didn't want to put it in here. I don't think it's top 10 worst material. But I don't think it's better than the other 30 films that I saw this year. So unfortunately, number 10 is The Hunt. New Mutants falls in at number 9. Why I don't think it is top 10 worst material as well, someone has to fall in this category as well. And I don't think that it's better than the 30 other films that I saw. Now this one is very mixed. I'm very mixed on New Mutants because while I don't hate it, I don't love it. There is some cool scenes where the girl that can jump in and out of the dimension, those are wicked scenes. The fight scenes are absolutely fantastic with the big bear. But then there's also, when it's a horror film, absolutely fantastic. Loved every horror element throughout the first bit of the film. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, whoa, this is actually a lot better than what I thought. Then it hits that boring middle stage where I'm kind of like, starts falling off. And it starts getting boring and you're kind of like, is this going to end anytime soon? And then it picks up again and it then picks up again towards the end. And it's kind of like one of those films where it's like, it's hit and miss in a lot of places. So it's like 50% of it is great and 50% of it is actually really bad. So for me, number 9 is New Mutants. Underwater, again, is another one where I don't think it is one of the worst films. Someone's got to fall in this category, and it falls in there. Now, my biggest issue is some of the characters I don't care for. There's one character in particular that I absolutely fucking despise. She is so whiny, so boring. I was actually hoping she died in this film. I was like, please kill him. Please kill her. Don't kill him, kill her. And of course the cool, funny guy that I actually cared about dies. Like really early. And then the rest of them die. Like she doesn't die and I'm like, oh my god, she's pissing me off. And then there's some convenient things that happen in this film where she gets hit by the monster and that and goes flying in the water and ends up where she's supposed to be. And I'm kind of sitting there and I'm like, so you're telling me this monster just randomly whacked her there? And I was like, okay, right. Okay. And yeah, I never really got on board with this film. So unfortunately for me, I did find it boring in a lot of parts. So number 8 is Underwater. Death of the Family, the new Batman animated film that came out on Blu-ray. Look, this is one of the worst films because I've already seen it in the Under the Red Hood. Like, they just chop up Under Red Hood as one of the options and narrow it down to like a 15-minute, not even a 15-minute story, and then you choose a different story, and it's just that as well. I mean, it's kind of like, it's boring, and I'm like, it's not worth it. It's just what ifs. Like, this is a YouTube clip that I can just look up. What if Batman saved Robin? That's a YouTube clip. It's not an actual DVD that I should have to go out and spend money. This should be a special features on Under the Red Hood. That's what it should be. It shouldn't be its own thing that you have to buy. It should be special features, because that's what it feels like. It doesn't actually feel like a completed film. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, because I do love Under the Red Hood. So, number 7, Death in the Family. Bloodshot, a film that I was so highly anticipating because it looked absolutely fantastic, and I was like, cool, we're going to get something outside of the DC and outside of Marvel for once, and it's going to be hopefully really, really good. Then I watched it. The story is just, it's a snooze fest. It is honestly a fucking snooze fest. Terrible, terrible. The CGI in this film is absolutely garbage, man. It is garbage. I'm like sitting there watching a fight scene, I'm like, am I watching a video game characters fight here? Because why am I watching this? It's garbage. Absolutely garbage. The villain, I don't care for the villain. I don't care for any of these characters, really. I mean, something that is a cool concept failed hard. And I didn't enjoy this one as much as I thought I would. And it was kind of like very disappointing. So number 6, Bloodshot. Unhinged, starring Russell Crowe. I mean, this just, it establishes its own logic in this film and then goes against it. Like, his van, he's a truck, like, well, whatever it is. He does get a minivan, and it's unbelievably indestructible. It's flipping people. He's going like 200 miles an hour on the highway, and he's just wrecking fools. And you look at his van, no damage whatsoever. And then his van's just sitting there, and she just like goes into him at like 40 kilometers or 40 miles or whatever, straight into him, and flips the van. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? He's able to get out of his car and tape an iPad underneath the seat without her knowing. I was just like, no one saw that. Nothing. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, what is this film? What is this film? Like, there's just so many things, logic problems everywhere, plot holes everywhere that don't make sense. And that's my problem with it. So, number 5, Unhinged. Fantasy Island, one that I was really anticipating, a horror film that I was hoping was going to be phenomenal. And then I sat down and watched it and I was just like, this is a biggest snooze fest and absolute garbage of a film. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? They just, a great concept of a fantasy island. You go there and your what biggest fantasy comes to life, and it's just like black goo. That's what it is. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is boring. I'm so bored. What, like, I hate this film. It was so disappointing. Absolute problem. The stories are boring. The characters are boring. I don't care for the characters. Just everything about it was boring. Absolutely boring and made no sense or anything. So, number 4, Fantasy Island. Follow Me. Look, this film was one of the worst endings I've ever seen to a film. Honestly, the ending contradicts the whole entire film. That's what, you had this film and you're watching it and everything, and the ending contradicts every single thing and shows you these certain things that happen, and I'm kind of like, well, how the fuck was she drowning if she had that? She literally drowned and had to read, like they had to mouth to mouth her, and I'm like, that completely contradicts everything that they did. The characters I don't care for. You couldn't even see the killing or the like torture or anything like that. You had to look through the TV he was looking through and you couldn't see jack shit. It was just so bad. It was so bad. And that ending is just one of the worst endings of all time. Absolutely garbage. I'm like, fuck me. Number 3, Follow Me. Antebellum. a film where I was just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? You're chopping and changing, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then it reveals everything. I'm like, well, this is fucking boring and dull, and just the twist was not very even good. Like the editing, the way they chopped up this with the editing, and I was kind of shot really weird and like edited weird, and I was just kind of like, what is the point of this film? I literally watched it at the end and that, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, so what is the whole point of this film? And when I walk out of film saying, what is the point of this film? That's not a very good thing that you want me to do. And I just didn't love any of the characters. Some of the characters were absolutely annoying. And I was just kind of like chopping and changing. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So, Antebellum, number 2. After We Collided takes top spot. Absolutely garbage of a film. Character development does not exist. They have a chance to do it and they just ignore it. They rinse and repeat the same arc constantly. It's just a cycle, like a half an hour cycle of the same thing, and then the same thing, and then the same thing. Boring. How many sex scenes can we put in here? Let's just write a sex scene that doesn't even have any narrative purpose. No narrative purpose in this film. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. It was just so repetitive. I don't understand any of the characters' motives behind what they're doing because they don't explain it. They don't give you that. They don't show you anything. They don't develop any characters. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the fuck is the point of this film as well? Because I don't care for the characters. I don't even know the characters. When I don't know a character and don't care about your main characters, that's terrible. Absolutely terrible. And this was just absolutely, it's fucking garbage. So After We Collided takes number 1. So there you have it. That is my top 10 worst films of 2020. Let me know in the comments below, what are your worst films? I want to know. I'm intrigued. Give us a like as well. Keep smashing that like button and subscribe as well. Please, come on, let's do it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next video. Peace out.